What is going on, Cuse Nation? Welcome to yet another edition of Orange Heat. I'm Giovanni Heater alongside Kyle Marchak, and we're just about a minute or two away from tip-off inside the Dome. It's Syracuse, and it's Northeastern coming up in just a little bit. Kyle, how you doing? How you feeling about this game real quick?
I think this is going to be another game for them to tune up and continue to mesh together in the court. So I'm really looking forward to this opportunity for Syracuse. A good pickup in between this week where they're kind of waiting for the next conference game here.
Absolutely. So without further ado, let's get right into the action. It's Syracuse, it's Northeastern, it's college basketball, and it's next on Orange Heat. Welcome inside the Carrier Dome. It's a beautiful Wednesday afternoon for some college basketball. Syracuse playing host to Northeastern, and it's a great matchup here. Syracuse just scheduling this game 2 days ago. Coach Jim Boeheim wants to get as many games in as possible, an opportunity for these two teams to mesh here today. Syracuse, Northeastern. I'm Giovanni Heater alongside Kyle Marchak, and play is just underway after the opening tip. Buddy Boeheim drills in at 2. Kyle, how you doing? It's 2-0 Orange, just like that.
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me on. I think there's a lot of things that both teams are going to have to get together today on the court in order to have some further success. Of course, Northeastern coming off a big win against UMass to finally break it even. They're only 2 games deep into their season at 1-1, Syracuse 4-1. I think Syracuse is going to have to continue to spread the wealth. You know, good ball movement last game was the culprit for their success. Breaking triple digits for the first time in a while. You and I both know that well. Not something you see often with Syracuse, usually a lower scoring team that plays off of their successful 2-3 zone. So I think with shot selection and Guerrier's continued success in the paint with both scoring and rebounding, I think Syracuse will have a good game tonight, as well as with Northeastern. If they can get their assists together, I think if they also spread the wealth, they might see an offensive outspurt. With Strong, Walters, and Bogdan all being responsible for 36% of their points on the court, with exception to their main scorer, Tyson Walker, at 23.5 points per game. We're going to have to see some guys who can create some assists on the court.
I couldn't agree with you more, Kyle. And now Syracuse takes an inbound out of bounds. 18-16 left to play. We've already played about 2 minutes here inside the Dome. Buddy Boeheim wants 3 on the left side. That one hits off the back rim, and it's out. Rebound going the other way, and the Huskies have it. Now corner 3 down the other end of the court. Air ball, misses everything, but a rebound down low. Put back up and in. Jason Strong, the 6'8", 210-pound forward, a redshirt junior out of Coconut Creek, Florida, and he gets the first 2 points on the board for the Northeastern Huskies here today. Now, a traveling violation. The guilty party is Marek Dolezaj, and Boeheim's already yelling pretty early here, Kyle.
Yeah, Boeheim runs a tight ship, but it might be a closer game than expected today. Northeastern really one of the first teams on the inside, at least, that matches the size of Syracuse. Of course, we're a little short-handed with Barama Sidibe, who tore his meniscus. He'll be back within a couple weeks. So replacing him on the inside is Merrick Dolajai, who's far too comfortable playing inside for a guy who really isn't the size of a true center. Of course, not his fault. Boeheim squeezing in where he can. Dolajai actually leads in assists on this Syracuse team, so he's a very athletic guy. But you mentioned Jason Strong at 6'8" and forward. He matches the size of the biggest guy in our court for us, which is Quincy Guerrier, also 6'8", 220 pounds. Just something to note there.
Yeah, three-pointer here for the Huskies. Coleman Stuck was the one that stuck it in, and it's a 5-2 advantage for Northeastern. Miss here by Alan Griffin, the Syracuse leading scorer with 18.5 points per game, goes off the rim and out. Rebound Jason Strong, and now the Huskies take it the other way. It's a 5-2 lead right now inside the dome for the visitors. 16:48 left to go, and another three flies from the top of the key. Count it. Northeastern off to a hot start. They lead at 8-2, and Tyson Walker, who leads the team, Kyle, as you mentioned, with over 20.5 points a game. He's a sophomore out of Westbury, New York, kind of a homecoming for him a little bit. And again, a situation where looking at some of the social media stuff around this team, they know the history of this Syracuse program. They know where they're coming to play in the Dome. They grew up watching this team on TV. So if you think that Northeastern doesn't want to come in the Dome and shock Syracuse, you're absolutely wrong. And they're proving that Syracuse might not be in for the cakewalk that was expected, especially not having weeks to prepare for this team or an entire week. It was scheduled 2 days ago. Boeheim hinted to it on Saturday after the Boston College game in the press conference. So this team might have had a handful, 4 days max to prep for this game. Not your typical slate.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, what's better than getting to visit the largest venue in college basketball here in the Carrier Dome? There's quite nothing like it, I'm sure. Being on this court has to be an interesting view, especially, without the crowd. The echo in this dome has to be insane, especially now that it's newly renovated. I mean, it's just a great opportunity for Northeastern to shock a big team here. And last time we saw Syracuse play a team with a little bit of unpreparation, if you will, it was a tough game. They had to eke out their season opener against Bryant, and they only won it by 1 point. So look for another close game here against a team that's really not supposed to have that type of success against Syracuse.
Yeah, and you mentioned it, Kyle. You mentioned the size. And the one time Syracuse has faced large size this season, they struggled. That was the road trip to play in Piscataway, New Jersey against the Rutgers Scarlet Knights, a situation where they were, just outsized down low and almost at every position as well. And it showed because the rebound category led for the Scarlet Knights, nearly doubling Syracuse. They had 43 rebounds. Syracuse had 26 rebounds. So Rutgers really blew Syracuse out of the water in the rebound game, which led to a 10-point loss. Girard for three. That one was deep off the assist from Merrick Dolajai, who sat at the top of the key, and Syracuse draws this thing a little bit closer. So now it's an 8-5 lead. But you mentioned the size, Syracuse. Tell me about some of these guys on the other end of the court for Northeastern that have some huge size. A guy that sticks out to me, a 6'7" guard at 230 pounds, the freshman Jameel Telford. Tell me a little bit about him and just the rest of this team as far as their size advantage.
Yeah, I mean, Jameel Telford is long and athletic, but he's not the only guy in the court who's like that. Leading in rebounds for this Northeastern squad is Shaquille Walters. Shaquille Walters at 6'6". He's also a guard, 200 pounds. So just so many big guys in this court for Northeastern, really. Yeah,
and Syracuse, tallest guard up top. Girard's not that big. Girard stands at 6'1", 195. And behind him, you have Buddy Boeheim in there, and he stands at 6'6". So he's a tall guard, and that helps with that a little bit. And then Kaderi Richmond is in there as well at the guard spot when he comes off the bench, whether it's the one or the two, and he's 6'5". So Syracuse can match it, but a 6'7" guard, that's something Syracuse has not seen yet this season.
Yeah, frankly, I mean, that's kind of ridiculous. If you recall the last time we had a 6'7" guard, or maybe a forward, if you will, Carmelo Anthony was really big at his position. Of course, he transitioned quickly into the small forward and maybe even the power forward spot in the NBA. So, I mean, there's all sorts of different size differences here in Division I college basketball. And it's always interesting to see how it plays out. The dynamic on the court will certainly be odd at the top of the key for both teams.
Yeah, timeout on the floor taken by Jim Boeheim and Syracuse, and that means that they're taking a quick break inside the dome, but we'll bring you more coverage here on Orange Heat. So thank you so much for joining us here. If you haven't already, go check out some of the recent videos. We called some boxing over the weekend, and Michael Jones interview and some of the old games like that. So Syracuse, a big one today against the Northeastern Huskies. We were kind of sad, Kyle. We were bummed that we weren't going to be able to call a Syracuse basketball game for an entire week. They played Saturday. It was an 101-63 victory over Boston College, a conference win, the first one of the season for Syracuse. They currently sit at 4-1, just an offensive onslaught, absolutely incredible by the Orange on Saturday. And then they weren't supposed to play again until this upcoming Saturday against the Buffalo Bulls, the UB, another in-state kind of sort of rivalry game there, an in-state matchup in the non-conference schedule. And then, Jim Boeheim wants to get these guys on the court as much as possible because you never know what's going to happen down the stretch of the season. He wants them to mesh. He didn't think a week without a game was, the best way to go about it. So they schedule Northeastern, and this is an exciting game to have in the Dome, to say the least. A weird tip time, 3:00 on a Wednesday.
Yeah, I mean, you were texting me about the information for the game and you said 3:00. No, I'm not joking. It's actually 3:00. And I was like, okay, I'll see you then at 3:00. So, but really this is just another way to squeeze in a game here for Syracuse. It's another opportunity to maybe open things up, although they are down 8-5 here with 15.5 to go in this first half.
Yeah, just on Saturday, Buddy Boeheim surpasses his father in all-time scoring in Syracuse University history. So he currently has 748 points in his career, and that surpasses his father by 17 points total. And that was because of his big performance on the road at Boston College. So that's pretty cool to see that both were in the number 35, and Jim Boeheim played back in the Dave Bing era before becoming an assistant coach and eventually the head coach of this program. And his son, in just now his third season, surpasses that.
Yeah, good to see his kids roll through. And Buddy Boeheim's really been key to the success of this offense for Syracuse.
Absolutely. They're happy to have him back. The first game back was against Boston College. Now we're back to basketball. 8-5 lead for Northeastern. Syracuse moving the ball well. Dolezaj, a spin move, lets a floater go from just past the logo, and he cashes it. So it's 8-7. The lead still with the Huskies. 14:53 left to play. And on the other end of the court, the Huskies take it up. They're wearing some fancy jerseys. I like it. They're wearing red with gold numbers and some black trim. Syracuse in the traditional all-white home uniform. So Tyson Walker running the point right now for the Huskies. Three-pointer flying from the left side. That one's off the mark. No good. And rebounded. Girard going the other way. Coleman stuck. Couldn't get it to stick. And now Buddy Boeheim takes it on the other end. Off to Girard. Girard a pump fake on the right side. Still behind the line. And he decides to pull it out and get a play set up here. Girard comes up to set the screen. Girard uses the other way. Off to Dolezaj. Now Allen Griffin, a corner three. That one doesn't fall. It was highly contested. I think Dolezaj would like to have gotten that pass off a little bit smoother, a little bit more at his hands, and we wouldn't have had that closed out. Now a corner three for Stuck the other way, and it is good. So Northeastern jumping out to an 11-7 lead, 13:57 left to play. And they've used that play twice now where they've found Stuck wide open in the corner, Kyle. What are you seeing out of them? The freshman out of Oakville, Ontario.
Yeah, I mean, well, they kind of replicated what Syracuse was trying to set up beforehand, which is kicking it out to the wing and then hitting that shot. Kind of getting in on the inside as Girard puts a ball up and gets a foul. Every time they get on the inside and produce some success, Syracuse usually ends up winning the game. And, Northeastern is one of those teams that can do that. We've really struggled with driving the ball from the guard position. Joe Girard, more of a three-point shooter. And I'll say it again. I mean, better shot selection will find better success on the court for Syracuse. And Northeastern thus far has just had better shot selection.
Yeah, absolutely. And now, as you said, Girard drives inside the lane and gets one up. One thing that was questionable about his game was the shot selection, but we love to see him put the ball on the floor, try and get to the tin, and end up getting to the free throw line. And we don't see it often. That's not his game. Syracuse fans want to see that extra element added to his game. And here it is today as Girard makes the first one and now the second one. One of the leading free throw shooters in the country last year, goes 2 for 2 so far. And he did it by getting to the 10 and getting to the charity stripe. 11-9's the lead for Northeastern. It's 13-31 and counting left to play here in the first half of action. Walker at the top of the key, dribbling around Girard a little bit. And that's a pretty even size matchup as Walker drives in, kick out right side. Now driving to the 10 and another kick out. Stuck. Hits it to the right side. This three-pointer is off the mark. Jason Strong couldn't get it to go. He led his shot just a little too strong. Lob to the inside. Quincy Guerrier, an easy two off the feed from Buddy Boeheim, and it's all tied 11-11, Kyle. That was a fancy play right there.
Yeah, Guerrier, a lot bigger for his position. He got down the court pretty quick, calling for that ball, and Girard, of course, tossing it over the top for him. What a play right there.
Walker couldn't get a three to fly, and now Alan Griffin pulls down the rebound. Joe Girard taking it the other way. Pump fake, nearly pulled up from the elbow, and he lost it. Walker takes it the other end for the Huskies. Walker trying to get to the 10, and a foul's called on the floor. Buddy Boeheim, he says he had all ball. I think I'd have to agree with him. Nonetheless, Walker is going to get 2 from the charity stripe.
Well, of course, we'll agree with them, but on plays like that, they'll usually get the call nonetheless, kind of stuff them right there in the paint.
Absolutely. 11-11 is your score. 12:38 left to go. Walker's at the free throw line, and he hits the first one. It's good. Tyson Walker wearing number 2 in red today. 6 foot, 170-pound sophomore out of Westbury, New York. Played at Christ the King Academy and then New Hampton School in his days before Northeastern. Only a second-year guy, and really the light of this Northeastern program so far this year, leading the way in scoring by a large margin. Guerrier kicked to Girard on the inside. Girard, a fancy move, got to the bucket, couldn't get it to fall. Doley tried to get the tip, but Guerrier's there for an offensive rebound, and he gets it to go. So it's tied up at 13 once again, 12-13 to play. And a couple of weeks ago, Quincy Guerrier had a 26-point 16 rebound game, or 23 points actually, and 16 rebounds. Just a phenomenal performance, a double-double, nearly a triple-double for him when you count the assist game as well. Gary has really elevated his game in year number 2.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about the Syracuse team this year is that they've had plenty of success, each and every starting member, and even guys off the bench. Kadari Richmond's had his fair share of points in the court. If I recall, last game we had 6 guys with double digits in the scoring category. So like I said, they spread the wealth well, but everyone's had their fair share of performances.
Absolutely. So a TV timeout here on the ACC network, which is where the game is being broadcasted that we are currently watching. But we'll stay with you here as Syracuse and Northeastern are underway inside the Dome. About midway through the first half of action, Syracuse leads it, Syracuse trails 13-11 to Northeastern. They're about to get the ball back, though. But what are you seeing right now out of the Orange, out of not only the scoring game, but the defense as well?
Well, I mean, just overall, it's kind of weird to see them not mesh together well. You and I were mentioning how last game against Boston College, it took probably right up into the last couple minutes that Boeheim finally put in the walk-ons because he wants to get this starting lineup as much minutes as possible to mesh together well. It was obvious that there wasn't a good chemistry, especially in the opening game against Bryant. So he wants to get these guys as much minutes as possible. And this should be another game where they continue their chemistry, although you think it would be all there. If you look at their performance against Boston College this past Saturday, you would expect them to just, get in the court and things would start rolling in their favor. But there's just small things that they're not doing correctly. You kick the ball out to the wing and it's a little bit high. Griffin forced to take a shot late. He gets stuffed. So there's just small things like that. But of course, other things are falling in our favor. Dolezaj looking a little bit more athletic than usual today on the inside. Quincy Guerrier rebounding, which will be key to the success of controlling the pace of this game. So just small things like that hopefully will fall in our favor.
Yeah, absolutely, Kyle. And one of the questions that has been circulating around Orange Nation ever since that 101 point, onslaught on Saturday was, is that Syracuse's ceiling or is that Syracuse's basement? Is this kind of our glimmer of how good this team can be? Or is that kind of a fluke game for Syracuse? And that's really the question that we're all awaiting the answer to. I will say the only game they struggled was against Rutgers. And you have to think they didn't have Brahma Sidibe on the inside for a size advantage. They didn't have Buddy Boeheim playing at the 2, who, last year was one of the 3-point leading scorers in the ACC. I mean, it doesn't get better than Buddy Boeheim. And they still hung in that game. they still, despite having a slight difficulty, or really a massive difficulty in the rebound game, they still lost that game by 10. Rutgers pulls away at the end, with the foul game. Of course, it was a little closer than the score indicated, and Syracuse led by 5 with 5 minutes to go. So the question circulating, of course, is this Syracuse's kind of ceiling? Is 101 points kind of a fluke, or do you think that's how good this team really is? I'd love to hear your thoughts, Kyle.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's a great question. And unfortunately, I think that it wasn't a fluke performance, certainly, but that's not what you're going to see from them every game. I think the chemistry was peak. It doesn't really replicate any better than that, but you can see that it's kind of a day-to-day thing. That's the beauty of sports, especially in this ACC world, is that all these guys are still young. So inconsistencies will happen. If we look at our starting lineup, the first guy that I think of is Joe Girard. He's extremely inconsistent, despite being an obviously athletic player at the guard for Syracuse. You and I have mentioned many times, only a couple games ago, he had a 3-point performance against Rutgers. And then he comes out against Boston College, and he's a completely different basketball player. He's manning the offense. He's spreading the wealth. He had a few assists. I mean, just a totally different Joe Girard. As long as these guys continue to play the way that they should, by slowing the game down and doing the right things, like Buddy Boeheim is right now, forcing up a shot on the inside, I think the games will fall in their favor. But, there's just small things that they're not doing correctly right now. And when it comes, the offensive onslaught will probably, continue to spread the success for Syracuse here against Northeastern.
Yeah, Bill Cohen in his 15th season as the leading man of the Northeastern Huskies. And, before him, it was Jim Calhoun, who Syracuse is very familiar with back in the days of the Big East, a good rival and a good friend of Jim Boeheim. And Jim Calhoun got his start as the head coach of the Northeastern Huskies. So we're back to basketball, 11:33 to play. Quincy Guerrier got an offensive rebound off of a Boeheim miss and has a trip to the free throw line. He goes 1 for 2 from the charity stripe, but count another rebound in the scorecard as well. And with 11:30 and counting left to go, Syracuse eclipses their first lead of the day, and it's 14-13 over Northeastern. Sharing the ball well are the Huskies. Syracuse really not allowing a lot of penetration on the inside. Now a drive, nearly losing his handle on it was Shaquille Walters. And a three-pointer is up and off the mark. Quincy Guerrier, the rebound, and Syracuse takes it the other way. Guerrier on the left side. Pump fakes, thought about a three for a second, wanted to drive it, and elects to give it away. Girard with it on the left corner. Now gives it up. Dolezaj, top of the key. Boeheim, top of the key again. Dolezaj drives to the bucket. Boeheim doesn't give up the pass, and it's back to Guerrier at the top. Now 9 seconds left in the shot clock. Girard trying to do something with it. Girard back to Boeheim. Boeheim on the drive. 3 seconds left, and is a foul. So for a second, it looked like Boeheim was going to get stuffed, and he does. So it's a jump ball call. I'm not really sure why that's a jump ball. There was no tie-up per se. Boeheim just really couldn't get a shot off. Didn't want to give up the shot clock violation, obviously, and that was the best defensive series that we've seen out of Northeastern so far. Syracuse couldn't get anything going.
Yeah, I mean, wherever Syracuse was, Northeastern was right there. So, they stayed right in front of these guys. And usually we're not a team that's super quick to driving to the hoop. We just have really good ball movement from the top of the arc. And you saw that there, that they were moving around from the elbow, trying to cycle guys through to the wing. Guerrier getting out to the top of the arc a little bit. But, yeah, Northeastern stuck right there. And if they continue to do that, I think this game will stay close.
Shaquille Walters running the point now for Northeastern, and a pass to the left side that time goes way over the head of Jameel Telford. Tyson Walker is the guilty man, and he'll get his first turnover of the game. Syracuse gets the ball back. 10:22 left to play in the first half. It's 14-13 lead for the Orange. But as I was saying, Tyson Walker steps to the shooting guard position, and now coming in wearing number 24, 6'6", 200-pounder redshirt junior out of London, England, is Shaquille Walters running the point for the Huskies. Syracuse has the ball. Kadari Richmond in the game at the 2 for Buddy Boeheim. Girard, step back three from the right side off the front rim and out. Rebound going to the other end. Coleman Stuck is the one who pulls it away. And Northeastern moving quickly, looking to take a lead.
Yeah, Shaquille Walters out of London, England. I didn't notice that until about right now. But, of course, there really is no shortage of European talent. We have Marek Dolezaj in at the center position, usually more of a forward for us, as he gets a good defensive stand there and forces the missed shot.
Yeah, the two-pointer that time, a jump shot from the elbow, is off the mark from Greg Obigodin. And now Syracuse going the other way. Girard hits a big shot. It's a 17-13 lead for Syracuse. That was a deep three for Joe Girard. 9:24 left to go early in the shot clock here for Northeastern. They trail it by 4, and Syracuse starting to open this thing up a little bit, which is what we expected, but they got off to a slow start.
Yeah, Girard looking more Girard-esque, excuse me, from the top of the arc there. He pulled up from deep.
And now a three-pointer here, counted for Coleman, stuck. So the Huskies aren't going to go down without a fight. Syracuse opened it up to its largest lead so far of the day. It was 4, and now it's right back to a 1-point ball game. Syracuse still holds the advantage, 17-16, 8:50 to go. Deep three from the left side. Woody Newton can't bury it. Hits off the back rim, rebound going the other way, and Shaquille Walters possessing it for the Huskies.
Yeah, right off the bat here, Boeheim trying to get everyone on the court. So it's good to see Newton getting on there. Kadary Richmond will be on in just a second, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Now, corner 3 here, wide open for the Huskies, and count it. Jameel Telford. That's the thing with this 2-3 zone is you're going to force that shot from the outside. That's the entire point of it. You want them to take the toughest shot to make, which is the 3-point shot. But when a team gets hot shooting, that's when Syracuse struggles, and right now Northeastern's hot. Dolezaj drive to the inside, an easy 2. He fought for that one, and it's back to a 19 all game. 19-19 is your score. 8 minutes exactly to play and counting. Syracuse 4-1 on the season. Northeastern 1-1, and Syracuse in a dogfight right now with the Huskies.
Yeah, back and forth. And like you said, this 2-3 zone kind of forces tough shots from the outside. And when Northeastern is going to continue to hit those 3-pointers, they'll have success. Tyson Walker, usually their guy from 3. He's 40% from the 3-point arc thus far.
Yeah, foul on the inside against Syracuse, and it goes on Merrick Dolezaj. Nobody's in the bonus just yet, but another foul on the card for Merrick Dolezaj, and it's 19 all with 7:46 left to play in the first half here inside the newly renovated Carrier Dome. A quick TV timeout, and that's the perfect time for us, Kyle, to attend to some of these questions so far in the comment section. So we can, I like to sometimes attend to them when they're good questions. Someone says Syracuse with is supposed to win this game. 17.5 points is the spread. Minus 17.5 in favor of Syracuse. Obviously, the home team, the Power 5 team. I mean, that's expected. Do you think Syracuse will cover that 17.5 point spread? Personally, I mean, it doesn't look like it right now, right? But I think it's a situation Syracuse, the better team, kind of pulls away in the second half. 17.5 is a lot, but I still think Syracuse will cover that. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with you, Gio. I mean, I think they work in spurts. So right now they're just in a cold spot, figuring out the rhythm. And then when they do figure out the rhythm, they're going to go on a streak, maybe a 10-0 run, whatever it may be. And next thing you know, they'll have that type of stretch that didn't seem like it could happen so quick, but it certainly happens with a team like Syracuse. I mean, in a matter of 20 minutes, Syracuse broke apart with 30-plus points against Boston College. So you really never know. It's more of an unpredictable team. These young men, more of a chaotic offense, although with Joe Girard, who's beginning to slow things down, we could see a certain rhythm that Syracuse will fall into here on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, another question here. Someone says, who's going to win the first half? Well, right now it's hard to say because we got a tie ball game with just about 7.5 minutes to go. So if I had to guess who's going to win the half, who knows? Maybe it's Northeastern and it wakes Syracuse up a little bit in the locker room, or it could be Syracuse. I think nobody really wins the first half because I think it's still going to be close at the end of the first half. Although you could make the argument Northeastern wins the first half for the fact that it is close going into the locker room.
Yeah, absolutely. No, yeah, as a matter of fact, I think Northeastern will win the first half, whether it's by 5 to 10 points. It'll be something that Syracuse can manage for sure. But I believe that because, we need to keep guys on the court who have a meshed chemistry and rhythm. And right now, Boeheim, for some reason, is cycling on Kadary Richmond and Woody Newton. So on the offensive side of the ball, you're going to see a bunch of new faces. We see right off the bat Woody Newton kind of getting caught up in that 2-3 zone and giving up a 3 in the wing who was wide open. So just small things like that where Northeastern will probably have better chemistry in the court in this first half. But once the locker room talk comes around, I think Boeheim will get his boys reined back together. And with Girard and Boeheim back in the court, they might be able to slow things down, find a rhythm, like I said, and Syracuse can run away with it in the second half.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more, Kyle. And then we have some other comments here, but I don't know if you read them. Just some, Boston College is overrated. I don't think they're overrated because nobody's talking highly of them. It's tough to see where that comes from. Offense lacks scoring. I strongly beg to differ, considering Syracuse just dropped 101 and before that had an 87-point game. I don't think the Orange lack scoring so far this season. And then some other comments that we don't even have to indulge in, like fire Jim Boeheim and where's Bob Knight and did he get a tan and all of this stuff. So the negativity is not necessarily loved, considering Syracuse fans certainly love their head coach, Jim Boeheim. 3-pointer here from the corner, and it is good. So Northeastern takes a 22-19 lead, 7:20 left to go. The Orange 2 for 7 from 3. Northeastern is 6 for 13. Kaderi Richmond pulls up for 3. This one rattles around for a little bit, kisses off the backboard, and eventually falls no good. So 22-19, still the advantage for Northeastern. 7:05 left to play.
Yeah, and like you said, Gio, it's all a part of the culture of Syracuse to really have it as a hot topic. The Syracuse Orangemen will always be something, especially for us growing up right here in Cicero, New York. So, to hear that stuff is certainly interesting. But, you and I both growing up as adamant fans of whatever teams we may like. You a Bills fan, I'm a Dolphins fan. For the NFL, we'll always argue about our favorings. So it's always fun to hear that stuff, but never love to see the negativity for sure.
Absolutely. A couple of threes here, up and off the mark for Northeastern. Syracuse moving quickly the other way. A pass to the inside. Woody Newton couldn't get his hands on it, but luckily it does deflect off the hands on the inside of Telford, and Syracuse is still going to keep this possession alive for the moment with just a few seconds off of the shot clock. It's a 3-point lead for the Huskies, 22-19, 6.5 to play. Both teams coming into this game, the Orange 4-1 so far on the season, coming off of a huge win against Boston College and that one loss against Rutgers on the road. So 4-1. And then Northeastern on the other side only played 2 games, 1-1 on the year, and coming off a big win against UMass. Interesting to see on their schedule. They played UMass twice. They played UMass Lowell to start the season. That one was canceled. Then they played UMass, the actual University of Massachusetts, lost to them 79-94. And then 2 days later, they played them again, this time at home instead of on the road, and they won it 78-75. So 2 days apart, they played the same team twice. Buddy Boeheim lets a 3 fly from the top of the key. That one was no good. Had to send it away late in the shot clock. 3-pointer the other end, and count it. A big-time bucket there. Jameel Telford, the freshman out of Quebec, Canada, having himself a great game, and that size advantage is showing as well. It's 25-19. Northeastern with the lead. 6:09 left to play. Jim Boeheim calls timeout, and Syracuse is struggling in the early goings, Kyle.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, right there against UMass a couple times now, and there isn't exactly a huge hub of basketball culture in Massachusetts, especially Boston. Of course, we've seen recent struggles from teams out of Boston. But these boys can play, and they're certainly here to play. Telford is hot from the wing right now, so Syracuse's 2-3 zone is going to have to adjust and be a lot quicker towards the wing because they're letting that shot open up right now.
Absolutely. It's a 6-point advantage right now for Northeastern, and it's fitting because they've shot the ball really well from 3-point range. 6:09 to go. Syracuse has the possession. Joe Girard taking it up at the top. Now Dolezaj top of the keys. Left open. Thought about shooting a 3. Doesn't elect to do so. Inside, Guerrier, some tough movement. The spin and gets a tough layup to go. Quincy Guerrier has been the bright spot of Syracuse so far today and has been a great surprise for the Orange this season so far. Back to a 4-point ball game. Northeastern leads at 25-21. 5:42 left to play. 3-pointer here from the corner off the mark. Guerrier fights for a rebound, and now the Orange going the other way. Cooking with a little bit of oil here. Shaquille Walters couldn't get it to go for the Huskies. Girard top of the key. Girard over to Dolezaj, who's on the right wing. Now to Guerrier on the inside. Guerrier a lob to the middle. Dolezaj a quick 2, and now it's back to a 2-point contest. 25-23, back-to-back buckets inside the paint for the Orange. 5:14 left to go. It's been all Guerrier and Dolezaj in the last minute.
Yeah, and why not continue it? Continue to get to the ball the inside, whether it's driving or just feeding your big men. I love the success that Dolezaj and Guerrier have had as Northeastern gets a bucket on the inside now. looks like it might be back and forth in the paint here.
Yeah, Telford got a tough bucket to go. Highly contested by Dolezaj. Not bad defense. Dolezaj got out of position. That's why the pass was to the middle. But he ended up contesting it well. Nonetheless, Telford got it to go. 27-23 is the lead for Northeastern. 5:40 left to go and counting. Girard top of the key. Guerrier comes to set the screen, and it's taken away, but there is a foul called on the court. It'll go against Telford. He thought he had a steal, so did his coach. But nonetheless, 27-23, the Orange will have the ball. That's 2 fouls on Jameel Telford. And I'm not surprised just because he's really physical in the rebounding game. And why wouldn't you be when you stand at 6'7", 230 pounds as a guard? Guerrier hits the deck. He's quite shaken up, but he does get up in timely fashion. That was a little bit of a scary moment if you're a Syracuse fan, because Guerrier, a huge part of this team, and quite frankly, they can't really afford to have any more injuries at this time.
Yeah, Guerrier and Dolezaj kind of both stepping in at the center position. They've been in and out of the paint together. Guerrier more into the paint essentially than Dolezaj, and especially our leading rebounder. We would not be able to afford to lose him, especially with the lack of big men on this team.
Girard, a fadeaway from the free throw line. That one's no good. And now quickly moving the other way are the Huskies. A pass way too far out of bounds. Walker was trying to hit Telford, and it is a turnover. Walker's second of the day. Syracuse trails it by 4 with 4 minutes left to go. Guerrier running the point for Syracuse. Your lineup right now is the starting 5. Alan Griffin at the 3. Dolezaj at the 5, and speaking of Dolezaj, he comes in for an easy 2. He's been great in the last couple of minutes, but your lineup right now for the Orange, Girard at the 1, at the 2 is Boeheim, at the 3 is Alan Griffin, the 4 is Quincy Guerrier, and the 5 is Marek Dolezaj. Syracuse leads the ACC in assists per game with 20.2, and it's by a large margin as well. Pass to the inside. Walker tried to hit Telford again, and their communication is just a little bit off right now because, again, a pass intended for Telford goes out of bounds. It's his second turnover in a row on back-to-back possessions. Syracuse taking advantage of those opportunities, and it's a 27-23 lead for Northeastern here as there's a timeout on the floor, and we'll continue the action here, Kyle. What are you seeing out of both of these teams right now?
Yeah, well, the big thing that I mentioned as a key to the game for Northeastern is assists. Like I said, Strong, Walters, and Bogdan are responsible for 36% of their points, and I'd imagine a good portion of the rest of that percentage would belong to Tyson Walker. But that's the thing. Tyson Walker is a scorer, but he doesn't spread the wealth. He's the guy who's supposed to be manning the offense of this Northeastern team, but he's missed completely on passes against guys to like Telford. Telford's 6'7", and it's hard to miss a guy of that caliber, especially at the guard position. So small things like that Tyson Walker will have to get together. He should be better at manning the offense and creating more assists, driving the ball. But he seems to be similar in Girard in that he'd rather, sit from the top of the key, set up plays, and then hand it off to someone else or hit a big shot. Not to bash either athletes. Of course, both of them have had their bright spots thus far. Tyson Walker averaging 23.5 points per game, and he's 40% from 3. So he certainly should be taking shots from the 3-point arc. But nonetheless, some small things to fix for both those guys here.
Yeah, low scoring affair so far in the first half, which is the opposite of what we've seen out of Syracuse as of late. And, it's tough because they schedule this game in very short notice, and you have to think that some of the struggles can be attributed to the fact that there was no time to plan for this game, really. They play on Saturday. Typically, the day after a game, you get a break. So say they don't practice on Sunday. Then maybe they practice Monday and Tuesday, and before you know it, it's game day on Wednesday. So just like that, it's a game for Syracuse that wasn't originally on the schedule. And at first on Saturday, when it was first talked about, they don't know exactly who they're going to play, right? They just say that there's hopefully going to be a game scheduled at some point before the Buffalo game. So I personally have to attribute a little bit of that. And I never really believed in that a ton because basketball is different than football, right? We know that. Football, it's very important, the preparation, everything like that. Basketball, there comes a point when there's an advantage. You can just kind of come out and play your game. But it showed in the first game of the season that's not the case. Boeheim talked about how they should have never played that game going into it, hadn't practiced in 14 days. And Syracuse stays that close with not that great of a team in Bryant, and they end up with a 1-point win, 85-84 in the season opener. And Bryant, You have to think if Syracuse is able to prepare for that game like they did, the Boston College game and the rest of the games on the season, it might be a little bit of a different story. I think you're kind of seeing that a little bit now.
Yeah, I mean, a lack of preparation, like you said, has been something that Syracuse has had to worry about against Bryant. They really should have never played that game. Boeheim was absolutely correct. With that lack of preparation, there was literally no chemistry on the court. I mean, it was tough to watch, honestly. So certainly some things that they'll have to mesh together here in order to continue their success against Northeastern and hopefully run away with it here in the second half.
Absolutely. Syracuse has been phenomenal shooting the three so far this season. Tonight hasn't necessarily been the same story as we get play back underway here in just a moment inside the dome. And there we are. Girard taking it up the court. It's a 27-25 lead for the Northeastern Huskies. They lead it by 2 over Syracuse. 3:30 left to play. Boeheim passed to the inside. It was tipped away, but Guerrier is able to haul it in. Tried to get a contested 2 to go and unable to do so. Foul on the interior against Alan Griffin going up for a rebound. He goes over the back, and now the other way we head, 3.5 to play. Walker taking it up the court now.
Yeah, and I like that for Guerrier to continue to force up shots on the inside, whether he's drawing fouls or continuing to get buckets. Honestly, he's playing a lot more like a center right now, which is something that he can continue to do. He's actually pretty strong at the position. Obviously, he's at the 4, which is actually probably his true position. If not, he could play at small forward. He is very athletic for his size. So I like that. And Dolezaj hopefully will get in on the inside, but he's also a guy who can create more assists. He's pretty athletic. So hopefully these guys continue to move the ball to the inside.
Couldn't agree with you more, Kyle. Alan Griffin now on the inside for Syracuse. Kicks it out to Girard. Girard a drive. Now a pass to Quincy. Guerrier tried to stuff it home. He hits it off the back of the rim. Couldn't slam it. No foul called. Boeheim wanted one, and it ends up being a no-good bucket for Syracuse. Now going the other way is Steele on the inside. Telford gave it up. Dolezaj gets his pocket picked. Walker the drive, and the 2 over Marek Dolezaj. So now it's a 4-point lead for the Huskies. A crazy series of events. Girard early in the shot clock with a 3. Guerrier the rebound. Guerrier the putback. And he's fouled, so he'll take a trip to the free throw line. Couldn't get it to go. Still a 4-point advantage for Northeastern. Dolezaj turns it over in transition. Walker gets a great 2 to go. Highly contested still by Dolezaj, who wanted that block. And then Girard pulls up very early in the shot clock, Kyle. We talked about it a couple of times throughout the past couple of weeks. We don't understand why he does that. Plain and simple.
Yeah.
I mean, those are those bad shot selection moments that you always mention.
I mean, in the chaos of the game, there's no need to pull up with 5 seconds gone in the shot clock. Back and forth right there, looking a lot more like a tennis match than a basketball game. And that kind of meshes towards Northeastern's game. They're not a super technical squad. They're just very athletic. So they'd like things to, spread apart, open up that 2-3 zone, go back and forth in transition and make some plays. When that happens, all of a sudden, Joe Girard feels compelled to pull up and then walk back to the other side of the court like he was guaranteed to hit that shot. Just stuff that you don't need to see from a guy who's supposed to lead this Syracuse team.
Absolutely. Walker a 3, no good, and an offensive rebound here now for the Huskies. Walker now driving, gets a screen, tried to get around Boeheim and did, but he elects to kick it out. Now driving to the inside is their other guard in the game right now, Shaquille Walters, and a foul on the interior. It goes against Buddy Boeheim. He's shaking his head. Nonetheless, it's a reach-in foul. So Syracuse still trails by 3, 1:48 to play, 20 seconds to go in the shot clock, Northeastern ball. Buddy Boeheim, 2 fouls so far today. Girard closes out for a steal, and he gets fouled on the floor. So the foul will go against Jason Strong, 6'8" forward. Haven't mentioned his name in a little bit. 1:45 to play. Syracuse in the bonus. Girard will get an opportunity for a 1-and-1. Speaking of the free throw line, Guerrier went 1 for 2, and that's the second or third time he's done that tonight. And that's one element to his game that is a weakness, right? His kind of put out at the free throw line. Sometimes he's really good. Sometimes he'll hit them both. And other times he's 1 for 2, just a little bit inconsistent. How do you feel about Guerrier at the free throw line? If he can hit those, I mean, that adds a different element to his game.
Yeah, I mean, just to draw a comparison to other sports, you look at baseball and there's the 5 tool athletes. They have the speed, strength, base running, everything you need. And then you look at Guerrier and he's the same type of thing at his position. I mean, he's really fast for his position, very athletic, can defend well, good contact, very strong. And then it's just the free throws, small stuff like that you need to get together, If he could fix that, it would certainly mesh together well with this Syracuse team. Of course, Boeheim runs a tight ship, and he loves guards who can really nail their free throws. Of course, Gary Amora 3 or 4 on this team, but just some small things that Syracuse could get together that would certainly help. Joe Girard, one of the leading free throw shooters in the country. If we recall, recently Tyus Battle was one as well.
Girard closes out for a steal and gets his bucket swatted off the backboard, but he is fouled and will go to the free throw line. I'm not even sure there was much contact. It looked like all ball to me, Kyle. Girard goes up for the 2, gets swatted away by Telford, but he will get a trip to the free throw line. I won't lie, even though we're a little biased, that looked like all ball to me.
Yeah, that looked pretty clean to me as well, but a little bit of contact drawn down below. That looks like just some NBA plays right there. A chase down block from LeBron James, if you can recall plays like that. I think that's just a good defensive play, but of course, any contact is usually called here in the NCAA.
And it is waved off.
A part of the game.
The refs talked about it, and they do wave off the foul, and I think that's a good call. It was originally called a foul, and now it's taken away. Going the other way, Syracuse, a quick transition bucket. Marek Dolezaj gets it off the steal, and they take the lead back, 32-31, 25 seconds left to go here in the first half of action. So Girard coughed it up, got blocked off the backboard by Telford. They went the other way. A turnover by Walker. Dolezaj was wide open off the court off the pass from Buddy Boeheim. It's a quick 2. Syracuse leads it by 1. Inside, a foul now, and the one going to the free throw line will be Chris Daughtry. That's the first time we've said his name tonight. 6'7", 240-pound forward. Again, a big forward, a redshirt sophomore out of Marlborough, Massachusetts. Dolezaj took the 1-point lead for Syracuse, and now a chance for the lead for Daughtry. 8.3 seconds to go in the first half, and it hasn't been a great one for the Orange.
Yeah, and Boeheim pleading his case right there. Like we said, contact is called often here. That might have been a clean play on the inside, although it was kind of a part of the chaos of this game thus far, back and forth, and Northeastern looking to take the lead here and possibly run away with it going into the second half. It'll certainly be close with 8 seconds to go, and Syracuse only up by 1, a chance for Northeastern to tie it right here.
Daughtry missed his first one, misses his second one as well. 6 seconds left to go. Girard taking it up the court, dribbles it through his legs, tried to give it back to Buddy, and now he gives up nearly a turnover. It is knocked out of bounds off the hands of Coleman Stuck. He hasn't had his name called in a little bit here, but he was hot early for Northeastern with a couple of triples, and 1.5 seconds left to go. The Orange still lead it by 1, 32-31. Pass Girard. Pull up for 3 at the buzzer and missed it all. Air ball for Joey G going into the locker room. And that really sums up how this first half has gone for Syracuse. Nonetheless, it's a 32-31 lead for the Orange, taking it into the locker room. Kyle, Walker has coughed the ball up a couple of times on the other end of the court for Northeastern. So both the point guards really haven't played that strong thus far. Kyle, what are your thoughts before we take a look at some of the stats and take a quick break here on Orange Heat for the halftime? What are your thoughts on how this game's going so far?
Yeah, well, I mean, you're right. The guards haven't had as much success as you'd like. And, if you're even an avid basketball fan, these point guards are supposed to be the guys who man the offense and possibly lead in scoring or assist, but neither of those kind of true for either of these guards thus far. Girard, a part of his playing style to not really distribute the ball, really just hand it off to Boeheim or another guy up top and let them, drive the ball to the inside. But when Girard gets to the inside, he can draw plays. He is athletic enough to do it. So you have to scratch your head and wonder why he doesn't really try and perform at his best in the paint. I mean, even on that takeaway earlier, he didn't really seem like he was hustling to the hoop. And then eventually he got swatted right there at the rim. So just some small things that Syracuse needs to get together. And the same thing for Walker, the guard for Northeastern. I mean, he obviously leads this team 23.5 points per game and almost 40% from the three-point arc. Of course, a small sample size, only 2 games into their season. But Tyson Walker needs to get those assists to land as well. He clearly wants to be that guy who distributes the ball, but he hasn't been hitting his targets, and large targets as that. In Telford, who's very large at his position and just large in general on the court at 6'7". So, Walker's going to have to hit his targets better on the inside and time it. That's all a chemistry thing. So as Northeastern meshes together better in this court, it'll be a harder team to play with, certainly for the Orangemen.
No, Kyle, I couldn't agree with you more. And Syracuse right now, not necessarily playing the way that they expected. Nonetheless, they still have a short lead here at the half. And we'll take a look at some of the stats in just a moment, Kyle. But my question to you would be, what do they need to do in the second half to really turn things around?
Yeah, I mean, Syracuse is just going to have to drive the ball more. If Girard could take smarter shots, slow down the offense and get on the inside, there's more opportunities. We see that when Syracuse gets on their best stretches offensively, it's when Girard tries to drive in or he just feeds his big men to the inside. If we give it to Dolezaj, who can man both the top of the key and the paint, he's been athletic today and, really feeding our big men. Dolezaj and Gary have been looking solid on the inside, whether it's rebounding or just, scoring points and drawing fouls. So if Girard wouldn't be afraid to feed his big men or drive into the paint himself, Syracuse will have better success in the second half.
Absolutely, and we'll take a look at some of the stats real quick before we let you go. So Syracuse, right now, with the stat book, comes into this one. Leading scorer has to be Joe Girard III for Syracuse right now. And we talked about how he struggled. The decision-making maybe hasn't necessarily been there all the way you'd like to see it. But he does lead the way for Syracuse right now, 12 points so far. He also has just one turnover, 2 assists, 2 steals, and a rebound. And then coming in second for Syracuse, Marek Dolezaj, 10 points, 2 turnovers, an assist, a steal, 2 rebounds, and no blocks so far for Marek Dolezaj. Quincy Guerrier coming in at third, 8 points, 1 block, 1 assist, 7 rebounds. That's what sticks out to me. This kid can be a double-double machine when he's rebounding the ball and scoring the ball. He's certainly on track for a double-double right now with 8 points and 7 rebounds and still an entire half left to play. Buddy Boeheim has 2 points, and that's it for Syracuse. Alan Griffin, scoreless so far. He's 0 for 2 from the field, 0 for 1 from 3, and he hasn't even really shot the ball. They've kind of locked him off a little bit, but the Syracuse leading scorer coming into this game has not scored a single point in the first half and has only taken 2 shots so far. So I don't know if that's a cause for concern, Kyle. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, Alan Griffin, usually a guy who's supposed to be our leading scorer. Obviously young to the team, but if he could continue to, open up shot opportunities for himself, or maybe even just get the ball and pass it off, he needs to be a guy who helps lead this offense. I know Boeheim and Girard can really help man this team, but without Griffin, there's just, that extra less threat. He's just an extra body in the court. Of course, he is good defensively. He is long at his position, so he fits well in the zone. And he's been solid defensively tonight. Not speaking about blocks, but really just being in position. Like I said, we see guys get on the court like Woody Newton, who at the same position as Griffin kind of open things up for Telford and other three-point shooters on the team. So, it's good to see Griffin, still getting the small things right, being a smart defensively player here on the Syracuse 2-3 zone, but he certainly needs to get more touches and feel more comfortable with the ball and possibly distribute it more often as well.
Absolutely. On the other side of the ball for Northeastern, leading the way right now is Telford off the bench with 11 points. In second place, it's Stuck with 9. And then you have Walker with 7. And then you have Strong with 2 and Daughtry with 2 as well. So Northeastern trailing by 1 to Syracuse at halftime. It's 32-31, the advantage for the Orange. And we'll see you right back here. Don't go anywhere on Orange Heat. In just about 5, 10, 15 minutes, we'll be back. We'll talk about what both these teams need to do in the second half to get things back on track and catch a win here inside the Dome. And then we'll bring you the second half of action. So you're listening to Orange Heat. Welcome back here on Orange Sheet inside the dome. Syracuse and Northeastern getting the second half underway. An early start for Syracuse. A two-pointer is no good on the inside for Merrick Dolezaj. Northeastern has it going the other way. Giovanni Heater alongside Kyle Marchak, and Marchak will be with us in just a second. There he is, having some technical issues we were during halftime, but we're all set now. It's Syracuse and Northeastern, the Orange, 32-31 advantage over the Huskies, 19:26 left to play. Walker gets into a little bit of trap in the zone. Three-pointer here from the corner, highly contested from Quincy Guerrier. Nonetheless, Shaquille Walters gets it to fall, and he takes the lead for the Huskies over the Orange. It looks like right now they count it as just a 2. So it's a 33-32 advantage now for the Huskies, 19:03 left to play. Alan Griffin, top of the key. Girard lets a 3 fly from the left wing. No good. Rolled around for a moment and doesn't fall. Rebound instead for the Huskies, and taking it up the court is Shaquille Walters once more.
Yeah, Shaquille Walters is very big and very athletic for his position. He's been a force for Northeastern thus far this season.
Walker, a drive to the inside, lost hold of it. Walters is there to pick it up. Corner 3 now for the Huskies, off the mark. Unable to get it to go now was number 15, Coleman, stuck, and Walker is down on the court. He really isn't moving here, Kyle.
Yeah, he might have taken a knee to the head there against Girard. I like the hustle diving for that misplayed ball, I guess. And yeah, it looks like he took a knee to the head. Hopefully he's okay. They might go through some concussion protocol here. Certainly shaken up.
Yeah, it didn't look terrible, but he definitely caught the knee of Girard, and he's not doing a lot of moving. It does look to be not good right now for Northeastern. So, you never like to see anyone injured. We hate to see it. Typically, we'd take a quick break, but instead we're going to talk about Syracuse football, Kyle. It's the early period for National Signing Day across the landscape of college football, and the Orange get a lot of recruits to sign today. So a couple of big names out there, and you have to start by talking about what Eric Dungy said in his tweet earlier today. So Walker, sitting up, Tyson Walker still appears to be very shaken up, so we have the time to dive into this. And Eric Dungy puts out a tweet earlier today, and just a little bit of background on the former quarterback for Syracuse, was pretty much unrecruited out of college. Had to beg Syracuse to just take him, right? Just wrote to the coach an email and said, I just want to play football somewhere at the D1 level. Just let me play, and comes to Syracuse, and the rest is history. One of the best to ever do it in an SU jersey in the stat book, and just from fan feeling as well. And he puts out a tweet today that says, congratulations to all the 21 signees. Your story is just beginning. Stars, in quotes, won't earn you a spot, ... Hard work, relentlessness, and a winning attitude will. Excited to watch my fellow West Coaster Justin Lamson represent. #Forever Orange. And Justin Lamson, a Syracuse football quarterback commit that signed today. People are excited about him. Again, coming out of California. Dungy was from Lake Oswego, Oregon. But just cool to see a West Coaster. Cool to see Dungy represent. And we're back to basketball. 33-32 is the lead for Northeastern. Boeheim can't get a 2 to go, but a tip in for Quincy Guerrier. He fought for that one. That will put him into double figures as far as scoring goes. It's his 10th point so far on the game. And it's also his 8th rebound. Three-pointer from the corner. That one's off the mark. Stuck, couldn't hit. And Syracuse still with a 34-33 lead. Looks like there's a foul on the inside. And it's against Quincy Guerrier. Nobody's in the bonus, but the Huskies will maintain this possession. Walker, pass to the top of the key. Vito Cubrillo, a new name right now in for Northeastern, probably on the court because of Walker's injury. And I shouldn't have said Walker because he's not on the court. Sophomore out of Croatia. So a lot of guys representing a lot of different places here today on the court. Now a drive to the inside, a bucket that time, no good, but it will be a blocking foul on the interior against Quincy Guerrier. That's back-to-back fouls on Guerrier. Shaquille Walters is the one that will head to the charity stripe, unless they call it an on the floor, but he was certainly going up for a shot. So, yes, he will have 2 free throws. And, Kyle, look at these rosters for both teams. So many guys from so many different places. Dolezaj from Slovakia, A couple of Europeans, one out of London, England on the other side. And speaking of London, England, it's Shaquille Walters, the one putting up the free throws right now. First one is good. It's tied 34 all, 17:51 to go. But then we have Guerrier from Canada, another guy on Northeastern from Quebec, and then Croatia. I mean, the world is being well represented right now on the floor tonight.
Yeah, I mean, whether it's a small or a big school, you're going to get guys from all over the place. Obviously, for us, Marek Dolezaj, and we have a big pipeline in Canada as well. And it seems that so does Northeastern with a couple of guys Canadian on their roster. So all over the place, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Syracuse turns it over here. 6 turnovers for the Orange, 9 for Northeastern. Northeastern leads it 35-34. Girard a steal. Speaking of turnovers, gives it off to Boeheim. Nearly let a 3 fly. Now Girard, deep 3 from the right side. Hits off the rim. Foul on the interior. Dolezaj hits the deck. And the Orange are not in the bonus, but it looks like it'll remain Syracuse ball. Dolezaj with an awkward smile. I think he kind of feels it a little bit on his elbow. He hit the deck pretty hard, but he knows that the Orange get that possession back. Still trailing by 1 is Syracuse. Buddy Boeheim lets a 2 fly, fading away. It rattled around and no good. The Orange just cannot get the lid off the bucket here, Kyle.
Yeah, I mean, for some reason, even though they are driving on the inside, they can't get it to pop in. I think if they continue to get into the paint and then maybe, piss one off the glass, shots will start to fall. But for now, no need to hit jump shots. Just try and get it up towards the rim.
35-34 is your score. Very, very low scoring. Now, a mid-range shot here is off the mark for the Huskies, trying to get it to go. It was Greg Obidobin, and now the Orange take it the other way. Boeheim, 2-pointer from the elbow. That one doesn't hit, and it really almost missed everything there, Kyle. Now taking it up the court again, running the point, is Shaquille Walters, and neither team able to score.
Yeah, uncharacteristic of Boeheim, usually a guy who can hit those open shots. Obviously a better three-point shooter, but mid-range certainly within his game. And, it's kind of odd to see him continue to miss those shots here in the second half.
Now a foul on the inside against Marek Dolezaj off the ball. 16-16 to go. It's a 35-34 lead for Northeastern, and they keep the possession. Inbound here. Now back to Shaquille Walters at the top. Girard closes out for a steal. Walters chasing it down, and he stuffs Joe Girard. This time it's a true foul. Girard will head to the free throw line. Walters doesn't like it. He certainly thought he had all ball. And Girard has gotten a couple of steals so far tonight. Just some miscommunication. Walters tried to get the pass over to Greg Obidobin, and Obidobin's head was turned. The 6'9", 240-pound forward didn't see the pass coming, and Girard was able to take it away. He hits his first free throw, as he typically does. 35 all, 16:07 to go. Clock is stopped. Girard will have one more, a chance to take the lead. As a couple of substitutions come in here, Jason Strong comes out of the game, and Jameel Telford, the freshman, comes in his place, who also is leading this team in scoring right now. Girard's second free throw is up and good. It's a 36-35 lead for Syracuse, 16:02 left to play. Pass to the inside. Telford driving in on Dolezaj. Almost got it to go. Guerrier the rebound. That might put him up to a double-double. Pass up court from Girard to Allen Griffin, and some chaos here. The ball just flying all over the place. Boeheim couldn't get a 3 to hit, and the Orange still end up getting the possession. 36-35, 15:30 to play. Nearly turning the ball over was Guerrier. Guerrier tightly guarded by Telford, over to Dolezaj, and now closing out for a steal on the other end of the court was Cubarillo. And he's fouled as he tries to get the transition layup to fall.
Yeah, back and forth here, kind of getting a little chaotic. If Syracuse could slow this game down, it might start to fall in their favor. But right now, only a 1-point lead.
Just a 1-point lead for the Orange. Another timeout on the court. And Cabrillo will take a trip to the free throw line when they come back. So just like that, we'll take a quick break here on Orange Sheet. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a minute or two. Welcome back here on Orange Sheet. Giovanni Heater alongside Kyle Marchak. And the Orange really in a dogfight right now against the Northeastern Huskies. It's a close one at the moment here in Syracuse. And the Orange just really trying to close out on this one. Kyle, what are you seeing out of both teams right now? The Orange, you'd think they would come out with a game plan in the second half, and we just really haven't seen it so far.
Yeah, I mean, as long as Girard refuses to drive the ball and kind of feed his big men, you're not going to see the success that we'll need to kind of open up this game. I think it'll be close, and all of a sudden it'll be like Bryant Syracuse all over again. So if Girard tries to feed his big men and, let them do their thing and then maybe drive the ball a little bit more, I think you'll see better ball distribution, which was the same Syracuse that we saw over at Boston College.
And the difference in that game, though, against Bryant was that it was a high-scoring affair, and you at least had to feel good about the offense, where Syracuse scored 85 points. Now, Bryant scored 84, and the defense struggled a little bit, and they were just hitting their shots, plain and simple. Syracuse still scored 85 points in that game. Right now, Syracuse only has 36 points against Northeastern, and we just scored 101 on Saturday. So just an odd game so far today at the Dome, and we are just lucky that they scheduled this thing, but how would it be for Northeastern if they come in and beat Syracuse? It might be a situation where we wish we wouldn't have scheduled this thing on a Wednesday. Short notice, really. But Northeastern not only hanging in there with Syracuse at points dominating this game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, these guys are certainly undeniably good. And once again, it's that lack of preparation that's a huge question mark on the chemistry of Syracuse.
Yeah, talking about Bill Cohen right now, one of the winningest coaches in CAA history. Right ahead of him was Jim Larinaga, and we know him. He coaches over at Miami. And coaching in the CAA, the Colonial Athletic Association, is where the Northeastern Huskies reside, and the first free throw is up and good this time for Vito Cubrilo. And it's 36-all, 15:23 to go. The guard from Croatia, a shot to take the lead, and he does. Nothing but net. 37-36. Northeastern leads it. 15:21 left to go. Joe Girard running the point for Syracuse. Dolezaj comes back to get the ball. Alan Griffin makes a cut towards the bucket, but Dolezaj couldn't hit him. That time it is tipped away down low by Greg Obidobin, and Syracuse still trails it by one. They'll get the ball, but they'll have just about 15 seconds left in the shot clock, and they do add a little bit of time. I think it continued to wind a little bit, 19 seconds on the shot clock. Griffin pulls up from three. That one's deep off the back rim. Didn't stand a chance with a hand in his face. That one was early in the shot clock as well. 37-36. Northeastern still leads it. 15 minutes exactly to go and counting. Inside. Sorry. Go ahead, Kyle.
No, I apologize. As Northeastern trying to get a bucket there, but Guerrier doing his thing, rebounding it. So Syracuse looking a little bit better here, and you have to wonder about the question mark in the inside. Now we're seeing Guerrier get the ball. You need to start feeding your big men, as Northeastern's done a little bit as well. So just some things going back and forth, both very similar teams on offense. And, of course, Alan Griffin, a guy you have to question, I believe, remaining scoreless thus far. He's been another guy that we need to perform in order to succeed tonight.
Alan Griffin tried to hit Guerrier. There's some miscommunication, and Alan Griffin turns the ball over, hit nothing but air and sideline. So 37-36 is the lead. Syracuse gets a steal here. Alan Griffin from three from the right side, rattled around, no good. So it's still a 1-point advantage for the Huskies. The Orange cannot get the lid off the bucket, Kyle.
Yeah, I mean, some small shots not landing, and 2 for 15 from three-point land is Syracuse, as opposed to the 7 from 20 that Northeastern is tonight. So Northeastern, a better three-point shooting team and just more success all around jump shooting. And that's why I think, if we're not going to be able to hit our three-point shots tonight, we should force the ball to the inside. In our streaks that we've succeeded and had offensive spurts, we've been feeding our big men. Guerrier and Dolezaj have been great, both, moving the ball around from the paint, kicking it out to create more shot opportunities, and getting it to the inside.
Jameel Telford got a bucket for Northeastern. Girard can't hit from three. It's a 39-36 advantage for the Huskies. Quickly moving the other way. Count the two down low. How about Shaquille Walters, the redshirt junior out of London, England, having himself a day? Jim Boeheim calls timeout. The Huskies, 41-36 lead over Syracuse in the Dome. Jim Boeheim needed that timeout right there, Kyle. It's a situation. The Huskies starting to pull away from this one. The momentum all on that left end of the court right now. Cohen's got to be pleased with his team play right now. What do you think Jim Boeheim's saying to his squad in the huddle as they simply cannot score?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's getting really chaotic right now, and I'd imagine he's telling his young men to just slow everything down. You know, when you see whether or not Syracuse is losing or winning, when they feel they're in control of the game, they slow things down. They, move the ball from the top of the key, set up plays instead of just kind of running up the court and throwing a shot up when you see the opportunity to do so, similar to what Joe Girard's been doing all night. So we need to see these guys who are supposed to man this offense like Joe Girard to slow things down, drive in, feed the big men, try and kiss one off the glass, create out more opportunities. When you go into the inside, there's far more opportunities on the offensive end of the court. And, the only reason I'm more concerned about the offensive end of the court is because this is a low scoring affair. Both teams have defended well thus far, and it'll certainly continue to be like that on the defensive end of the court for both squads. So you need to see the offense kind of go in favor of Syracuse right here.
Absolutely. It's a 41-36 advantage for Northeastern right now. They lead it over Syracuse. 13 and a half minutes left to play. And how about this team right now? Telford leading the way in scoring for the Huskies. But everybody doing a great job, and they haven't had Walker on the court back yet. So a little bit of cause for concern if you're a Huskies fan. Walker took a hit to the head off the knee of Joe Girard, has not returned so far. It was early in the second half. But how about the rest of this team really filling the shoes? Walters has played well. Telford's played really well. I mean, this team is really meshing and playing some high-quality basketball right now against a very good Syracuse team, and Shaquille Walters really leads the way in that running the point guard position. Kyle, if you're Syracuse right now, how do you find ways to score? You talked about getting the ball to the inside, better shot selection. Who do you give the ball to right now in these last 13 and a half minutes and say, go take the game over? Who's the best scorer on this team? We thought it was Alan Griffin. He led the way, but he can't get the rim off the bucket so far tonight. Girard has been okay. He's leading the way in scoring. Boeheim has struggled. There was a point. He is now 1 for 11 from the field. He's only hit one field goal out of 11 tries. Who do you give the ball to down the stretch?
Yeah, Gio, thank you. I mean, that's a great question. Without question, I would be feeding it to Quincy Guerrier right now. He's been a guy on the inside who just hits the right shots, draws fouls. He's very big for even a small or power forward. He's at power forward tonight, and he'll continue to be listed at so. When Alan Griffin's not really doing his thing on the offensive end of the court, you need other guys to pick him up. Well, it's been our big men. And I think they'll continue to do so if they get fed well on the inside. Dolezaj not afraid to get some touches. And when Guerrier gets touches in the paint, he usually posts up and creates a play that either he can rebound and create something off of, or just get it up and off the glass and into the hoop.
No, I couldn't agree more. I think you have to give the ball to Guerrier down low. He gives the best opportunity to score right now, considering we can't hit from the field. And that's your lineup. So right now, you see Guerrier at the 4, Dolezaj at the 5, Kadary Richmond and Woody Newton in, and Joe Girard. And I think you see Richmond and Newton in because Boeheim's saying we need a spark, right? And Kadary has showed this year that he can sometimes be that spark. He's also really good at the top of the zone defensively. I like the adjustment from Coach right now. What do you think about getting the freshman in, Woody and Kadary Richmond?
Yeah, well, initially I was saying the only way Syracuse would have further success is if they get better chemistry on the court, but that's clearly not the case. Some guys are just not performing tonight, and that's just a part of the inconsistencies of being a young athlete, especially here in NCAA Division I basketball. So, yeah, you're just going to have to put those newer faces on the court who can play for us and hope that with their new playing style, they can get a spark going, especially if they decide to feed Guerrier on the inside, whatever it may be.
Three-pointer up at the top. Cabrillo can't hit. And how about that rebound by Quincy Guerrier? Dolezaj kick to the inside. Dolezaj tries to get the 2 to fall, rolls around the rim, and doesn't hit what should have been an easy 2. And that's just been the story of the night for Syracuse. They can't catch a break, unable to get this lid off the rim. And they've been scoreless in the last 3 minutes and now 25 seconds. A steal here on the inside. Girard, he's had a handful tonight. Kick up the court. Kadary Richmond gives it back out. Guerrier thought about a 3, steps back, hits Newton in the corner, right side. Newton on the drive, and he gets fouled by Cabrillo. So Woody Newton Not in the bonus yet for Syracuse, but it is a good foul to draw. They'll get a reset here, and it'll add some seconds onto the shot clock as they kick that thing back up to 20. Newton was looking for a drive to the inside, unable to get it, but he does get the foul.
Yeah, good to see them at least draw some sort of foul. They'll get a reset in possession here. So they just need to be able to get to the inside and create buckets. And you're right, that kind of is the name of the game tonight. I mean, that was supposed to be an easy bucket, and it still finds its way out of the rim. So that's kind of been the story tonight for Syracuse, unable to get something going.
Girard finally hits. He heard exactly what you said about him, and he gave it back. So Girard hits from the free throw line. Now 41-38. The Orange close it back to a 3-point ball game. 12 minutes left to play, just under. And the Huskies have the ball back, fostering a 3-point lead. Pass to the inside, and now a kick back out. Telford had it for a second, gives it off. Shaquille Walters can't get it to go. Rebound for Woody Newton, and Syracuse taking it the other way, down by 3. Girard, some fancy dribbling at the top of the key, gives it off to Kaderi Richmond. Richmond dribbles behind his back, look to kick it out to somebody, finally finds Woody Newton in the left wing. Newton dribbling, drive to the inside, try to get a shot up, and he is stuffed. That one is taken right away out of the air by none other than Coleman Stuck, who's played phenomenal tonight for the Huskies. A timeout on the floor. Looks like it's a TV timeout. And that wasn't a good series. It'll be possession to Northeastern when they come back, Kyle. What did you see out of Syracuse? Northeastern playing really good defense, not letting anybody penetrate to the inside and get to the tin.
Yeah, I mean, Syracuse finally got to break that streak of 4 minutes without any points. And I don't really think it means anything. You could use it as a spark, but honestly, nothing changed there. We just happened to hit that deep two from Girard. So hopefully Girard will start to heat up here, but really just anyone in the court who feels like really getting into the paint and opening up better shot opportunities, because we know that nothing's falling from 3.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. Tweet comes out. Quincy Guerrier hits his career high 14th rebound. That's the highest he's ever had. He's now at a double-double and well beyond, because he hit 10 points just a little bit ago, and now he's up to 14 rebounds. So he's playing some phenomenal basketball for Syracuse, and we talked about it. They have to continue to give it to him. Now, if you're looking at the other end of the court and you're Northeastern and you're trying to pull away, come off with what would be a huge win for their program, playing inside the dome to knock off Syracuse would be incredible for the Northeastern Huskies. If you're them, who are you giving the ball to down the stretch? Who's been that guy tonight?
Well, I mean, I suppose Walker and Telford have both been those guys for them tonight. They've been looking really hot, but really Coleman Stuck has been the name that stuck out to me, if you will. He's been a guy who it really isn't supposed to be a huge spark on offense or defense, but he's just looked solid all the way around. I mean, he's really big at the forward position, arguably a center, really. He's been in the paint a lot tonight for him. And really, I mean, he's hit shots from the wing. He's created layups on the inside, and he's rebounded and blocked well in the paint.
As I said, Quincy Guerrier in double figures in both rebounds and points. 14 rebounds, 10 points for Guerrier. Dolezaj's got 10 points, 2 rebounds, and 1 assist. He leads the ACC in assists with 5 per game. Not the case tonight out of Merrick Dolezaj, as the team really is struggling to score. Alan Griffin still scoreless. He's 0 for 4 from the field, 0 for 3 from beyond the arc. 4 rebounds tonight, but still scoreless is the Syracuse leading scorer, Alan Griffin, out of Illinois. Joe Girard leads the team in scoring with 16. He's 4 for 12 from the field, 2 for 7 from 3. Still has 16 points. He's gotten to the charity stripe a handful of times, but Girard really still struggling from the field, only 4 for 12. Buddy Boeheim, only 2 points, 1 for 10 from the field, 0 for 3 from beyond the arc, and 2 rebounds. Overall, this team really just not producing. Kaderi Richmond, 0 points. Woody Newton, 0 points. They're each 0 for 2 and 0 for 1, respectively. And Jim Boeheim only playing right now 7 men deep. We haven't seen any of the other centers. We haven't seen John Bolajak. We haven't seen Frank Anselm. We haven't seen really anything. And Woody Newton and Kaderi Richmond playing limited minutes as well, Kyle. So looks like basketball is coming back inside the dome. But just some causes for concern when you look at the stat sheet. It's kind of mind-boggling. Syracuse, 38 points so far tonight. And there's not much basketball left to be played, 11 and a half minutes in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, genuinely speaking about, the history of Syracuse ever since they joined the ACC, you could tell that their 2-3 zone kind of control the pace of the game. They're not generally a high-scoring team. So it's certainly odd to see them low-scoring all of a sudden compared to the past couple games where they've been very high-scoring. Almost 90 points against Bryant to open up the season in a really close game against them. And then, of course, that 101-point performance from pretty much everyone on the court for Syracuse against Boston College. So certainly odd to see them all of a sudden fall back into their old ways. And really, it keeps games far too closer than it should be.
Woody Newton hits both of his free throws, and it's back to a 1-point game. Northeastern leads it 41-40, 11 and a half minutes to play, Kyle. My biggest takeaway from today would be let's not schedule any more games short notice, because clearly without the practice and the preparation, this team has struggled twice now this season. Quincy Guerrier, a foul, didn't like the call. 24 seconds left in the shot clock. Northeastern will continue with the possession. They lead it by 1, 11:22 left to play. And the inbound here from Cabrillo will be sent in to the man running the point, Shaquille Walters, the redshirt junior out of London, England. Looks like there might be a review taking place here. Boeheim doesn't know what for. Wondering if they're looking at a flagrant on Quincy Guerrier. We'd have to see it again as they show us the replay. And could be a foul. It looks like it's a foul on Northeastern. It must be. They kept showing Guerrier, and they called number 1. So, you assume that it was against Guerrier because he's number 1. But on the other side, Vito Cabrillo also wears number 1 for Northeastern. And he just comes up, swings an elbow. I think Guerrier just does a really good job of selling that. It doesn't look like the elbow actually ever makes contact with his chin. And they should see that on the replay, but they're taking a look at it for a flagrant.
Yeah, that was certainly close to clipping him. It actually might have made a little bit of contact. He certainly has facial hair in the way, so it's tough to tell, but hopefully didn't get clipped there, but this might fall in Syracuse's favor, and this could just be the spark that they'll need to take the lead and hopefully run away with it here.
Yeah, even if it clipped him, though, that was quite the acting job. He might have a future in Hollywood.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they're talking about it still here on the court. Syracuse trails Northeastern 41-40, 11:22 left to play. And Northeastern has the ball, so they do go that it is a foul against Guerrier, I believe. They don't get any kind of flagrant because there was contact when the trap came from Dolezaj and Guerrier. So I think the foul's against Quincy Guerrier because Northeastern has the possession. And up at the top, they nearly turn it over. Able to pick it up and shoot up a 3 that time is Cabrillo, and count it. It's a 4-point lead once again for the Huskies. 10:54 left to play. Northeastern has really opened things up here inside the dome.
Yeah, once again, the wing just wide open here in this 2-3 zone against Syracuse. They need to fix that quick. They need to have Griffin or whoever could be in the backcourt, maybe Newton, to finally see that opening and stay with their man.
Shot up here is off the mark from Dolezaj, and now the Northeastern Huskies take it the other way.
Just another shot Syracuse does not need to take right there.
Absolutely. Huskies sharing the ball well. Kick out to the left side. Telford thought about a 3, gives it up. Now at the top, hit it, no good. And Guerrier is able to pull down the rebound. Girard, is able to pull down the rebound, and Shaquille Walters couldn't get it to fall. Kadary Richmond, a drive to the inside. A tough layup doesn't go, but he will have a chance at the free throw line. 44-40 is your score. 10:06 left to play. Kadary Richmond will shoot 2. The Orange trailing by 4. The foul that time against Vito Cabrillo. And Kadary Richmond, solemn minutes so far today. Still held scoreless, but an opportunity to put a couple one up. And this would be an important 2 points if he's able to hit both. The first one rattles around and no good. So they can't even get their free throws to fall, let alone field goals. Buddy Boeheim and Alan Griffin both struggling today. They averaged together combined 37.4 points combined this season. Tonight, they have 2 combined, and those 2 come from Buddy Boeheim, and 0 of them come from Alan Griffin. That's an incredible stat. Together, they average nearly 40 points a game this season, and they have only scored 2 together tonight. Going the other way quickly are the Huskies. A big block by Kadary Richmond. Introduce yourself, young man. It's a 3-point advantage for Northeastern. They'll keep the possession, but Kadary Richmond was able to shot Cabrillo's layup right out of the air.
Yeah, big play right there. Obviously, Richmond way up on the glass right there. He's very long at his position, like we said, and that was a huge block right there.
You like to see a 6'5" guard. Boeheim loves putting big guards at the top of the zone, and that was a big one in transition for Kadary Richmond. Northeastern sharing the ball, pass to the inside. Jason Strong loses control of it. Allen Griffin gets the steal, 44-41, 9:41 left to go, and now a foul on the floor. Looks like it was off the ball, and Northeastern will keep the possession. It looks like it's against Kadary Richmond, and that's costly for Syracuse.
Yeah, small things like that just do not need to happen on the court for Syracuse as we take a look of some incoming freshmen from Brewster Academy. Of course, Kadary Richmond, one of those names. In the ACC, there's a pipeline of those kids. A lot of talent in recruiting, really.
Absolutely. Coming out of Brewster Academy before him was Buddy Boeheim just years ago. So now at the top of the zone, Syracuse just trying to keep Northeastern from getting any kind of penetration and any kind of easy buckets. The difficult part is they've been good at hitting their threes tonight. Shaquille Walters at the top. Gets a screen. Walters with a deep three. This one way off. Misses everything. Had to force it late in the shot clock. Missed the rim, so it'll be a stoppage of play. Syracuse wanted to play quick with a transition opportunity, but instead, when it doesn't hit the rim, it's a shot clock violation. So Syracuse still forces up a shot late in the shot clock, and that's good defense out of the Orange. Trailing by 3 is Syracuse. 9:13 left to go. 44-41 is the score. Boeheim over to Girard. Girard a drive, tries to get one on the inside, and it looks like he is fouled. That one's before the shot, so Syracuse will just have a chance to inbound here. Would have loved a chance to the free throw line if you're Jim Boeheim, but Buddy Boeheim to inbound. Girard in the corner, thought about a three, glad he didn't shoot it. Girard just slowing down the offense. 14 seconds left in the shot clock. Boeheim top of the key, driving. Kick out Girard. Left wing, lets a three fly off the mark. Guerrier trying to chase the rebound, and there's a foul on the court. Could have been against Quincy Guerrier, and it looks like it is.
Yeah, Boeheim with a look of disgust on his face right now, and I would certainly feel the same. It seems that these young men just slipping away from the control of Boeheim. He has to rein these guys in because they're completely unfocused right now. Just small fouls off the ball, a lot of turnovers in, going back and forth. I mean, they just let this game slip away from their control despite being a team who's only, 2 points separated from Northeastern here with 9 minutes to go in this second half.
And Syracuse dodges a major bullet because what looked like a foul against Guerrier goes exactly against Greg Obendobin. And instead, it's 2 free throws for Guerrier. He hits both of them. So this game is a 1-point advantage. Syracuse trailed by 4, and it looked like it was going to be Northeastern ball. An interesting call from the ref. It really did look like a foul against Guerrier, but Syracuse gets a little bit of a break from the referees. Down by 1, 44-43 is your score. Syracuse in the press, stresses away from the zone. Boeheim sticks his hand out and gets a steal from Telford. The Orange in transition, a lob to the inside. Quincy Guerrier slams it home on the alley-oop, and it's a 45-44 lead from Syracuse off the assist from Kadary Richmond. How about that, Kyle?
Yeah, I mean, this team works in spurts, and watch Guerrier get all the way up on that. Woo! He slammed that thing down, and all of a sudden, a Syracuse lead. This is a huge streak for Syracuse to go on right here.
You see Quincy Guerrier flexing his muscles. He's well aware that he has over a double-double so far tonight, just adding to that stat sheet. Syracuse still leading by 1, 45-44. A swing of points goes in favor of the Orange, taking advantage of the opportunities given. But it all started with a big steal in the press from Buddy Boeheim. What'd you see out of him?
I mean, Buddy Boeheim looking really quick, and he got that one away and then passed it right up the court, and Newton off to Guerrier. So, looking really sharp in transition right there. Pretty much everyone who connected knew what to do with it. So, now they're looking a little more locked in, and that was pretty much the play that they needed to swing things back around in their favor.
They call him the Candy Man, and it's getting to be Christmas time. The Candy Man slams home a candy cane. Quincy Guerrier with the dunk. Northeastern moving the other way. A push on the inside, and it does go against Northeastern. Offensive foul. Merrick Dolajai is able to force it, and Telford is the guilty man for the Huskies. That's going to be a turnover, and Syracuse is going to get the ball back as well. Syracuse is in the bonus. They're not going to get the free throws because it was on the other end of the court, but it's 45-44. Syracuse leads it. Dolezaj, the best in the ACC at drawing the fouls, I would make the argument. Girard, a feed to the inside, almost let one fly. Tried to get it to Guerrier, and it's tipped out of bounds. Solid defense there by the Huskies. Off the hand of Cabrillo it goes, and Syracuse still has the ball leading by 1. 8:15 to go, 45-44. Kadary Richmond to inbound. Gets it up to Dolezaj. Dolezaj drive, a spin, a floater, no good. Guerrier trying to get the rebound, chases it down, and out of bounds it goes off the hands of Telford. So Guerrier diving at it, keeps it in bounds. Telford couldn't do the same, and Syracuse will keep this possession. Shot clock goes back to 20 seconds.
Yeah, absolutely. Guerrier has been really the spark of this offense, the only consistency on this Syracuse roster. And small plays like that is what keeps this team really in the game. He's had some hustle plays. He slammed down that alley-oop, and now Syracuse starting to swing it in their favor right now.
Guerrier, a drive, a nice pivot foot, nearly got the layup to go. Dolezaj couldn't pull down the rebound, and Syracuse will still only lead by 1. 7:42 to go. Syracuse 45-44 advantage. Going the other way quickly is Cabrillo for the Huskies. Now they slow it down a little bit. Pitch to the left side. Cabrillo back with it at the top of the key. He's in for the injured Walker. Walker hasn't returned so far this game. Corner three from Strong. Out of the corner, right side, no good. Jason Strong off the mark. Guerrier is able to pull down the rebound, gets it to Girard. Kadary Richmond with a drive. He's tripped up, and he's holding his knee. Gets up, no problem. Syracuse has the possession. Kadary Richmond will most likely get a couple of free throws. And they take a quick timeout on the floor. We'll do the same. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Syracuse leading it over Northeastern 45-44. Welcome back here on Orange Heat. Giovanni Heater alongside Kyle Marchak with you, and Syracuse and Northeastern in an absolute dogfight with the Huskies. The Orange lead at 45-44. It's been a low-scoring affair. The offensive struggles have been real. Kyle, what are your thoughts as Syracuse looks to close things out? And the Huskies they're only down by 1. Look to do the same down the stretch of this game with just under 10 minutes to play.
Yeah, I mean, Syracuse has really struggled to kind of slow things down and, really get the small things to fall in their favor. Initially, it looked like, they're going to hit their layups. They're going to get those shots in the inside to land and, maybe open up opportunities to shoot from outside of the arc as well. But it seemed they just kind of threw themselves straight into jump shooting when they see opportunities to do so and not really moving the ball around. Once again, these guys are kind of all on the court for themselves right now, whereas if they were feeling a little more selfless and decided to kind of really distribute the ball and spread the wealth like they did last game against Boston College, we'd see more success. So, really struggling on the outside, and they continue to shoot from the outside despite having more success with guys like Guerrier and Dolezaj on the inside.
Absolutely. Guerrier has been that spark for Syracuse so far, and much needed is the argument that we could make. Alan Griffin still scoreless for Syracuse here tonight. Kadary Richmond finally on the board with 2. Buddy Boeheim and Alan Griffin combined normally score over 35 points per game. That's an average. Tonight, 2 points per game for those two tonight. Alan Griffin with 0. Buddy Boeheim with 2, and it's been difficult to watch, to say the least, if you're a Syracuse fan. But nonetheless, the Orange still have that 1-point advantage. Marek Dolezaj is all smiles. They know that they're the better team. They know what they need to do down the stretch, but polarizingly different following a 101-point onslaught against Boston College days ago. So 45-44, Kadary Richmond is at the charity stripe for 2. The Orange are in the double bonus. He hits the first one. Kadary Richmond, very strong from the free throw line down the stretch of this game so far. That's where his first 2 points came from. That's where his third will come from as well. 46-44 is the score, 7:05 to go. Kadary Richmond has one more free throw at the charity stripe. Richmond awaiting the pass from the referee. Not sure what they're talking about here, but now the pass finally up to Richmond. And he lets the second one fly. It is good. Nothing but net, both of them for the freshman, 47-44. Alan Griffin not in the game right now for Syracuse. He looks bleak on the sideline, but still supporting his team, clapping his hands after the Kadary Richmond free throw. So your lineup for SU right now is Girard at the 1, at the 2, Buddy Boeheim, Kadary Richmond. Actually, Boeheim probably at the 3, Kadary Richmond at the 2, Guerrier at the 4, and Dolezaj at the 5. 47-44. He's sharing the ball well. Syracuse is in a press. They get from the press and fall back into a 2-3 zone following the clear down the court. Kadary Richmond extends out, gets a tip, nearly took a steal away. Instead is a drive to the inside for the Huskies, and a dunk is in and good. What a dish that time for the Huskies. Coleman stuck, gave it off to Greg Obidobin, and he had no problem slamming it home. Back to a 1-point lead for Syracuse. 6:35 left to play. Dolezaj top of the key. Guerrier calling for the ball, comes up to get it. Back to Girard, top of the key. 13 seconds left in the shot clock. The Orange got to move fast. Guerrier with a screen. Dolezaj, and an easy 2 for Marek Dolezaj inside the paint off the feed from Joe Girard III. Back to a 3-point ball game here inside the Carrier Dome. 6:10 left to play. 3 o'clock tip-off inside the Dome, and finally the Orange seem to be awake offensively, Kyle.
Yeah, and Joe Girard driving into the inside and distributing it away. I mean, that's a really good play. And, if you think back to classic Syracuse, only a couple years ago, we had guys who could hit big shots all the time. If you recall Tyus Battle versus Duke, one of the biggest buckets he shot, other than, of course, the game winner in the inside, was a huge layup with the clock ticking down. And it's tough to think that guys like Girard could replicate that. So it's a completely different offense that we're looking at as compared to past years, but still they find their ways to create shot opportunities on the inside with Dolezaj hitting that floater there.
Obidobin with a big 2 on the inside for the Huskies. Back to a 1-point advantage for Syracuse. Boeheim, highly contested 2. Can't get it to go. Guerrier, offensive rebound. He gets the bucket, and it's the 51-48 game. Syracuse. Guerrier's going to the free throw line, and the foul. Quincy Guerrier having himself a day.
He certainly is. I mean, huge pickup there on that, I guess you could call it a rebound, that ball not hitting anything on the way down from Boeheim, and then puts it right back up and in. I mean, he's certainly strong at that position, and he's playing like a big man right now, despite really only being a power forward.
And the free throw off the mark, no good. He's unable to convert the 3-point play. That would have extended this to a 4-point game, and Syracuse would have had a 2-possession lead. Nonetheless, it's only 3, 5:11 to go. Pass on the other end of the court, and it looks like the Huskies turned it over. A traveling call, Syracuse with the trap. It pays off, playing that full court press. No need to drop back into the 2-3 zone that time, Kyle. Syracuse gets a big turnover, and now the Orange. It looked like actually they weren't able to get it across the half-court line in 8 seconds.
Yeah, and guess who the culprit was? Quincy Guerrier pressing at the top of that full court press. So really, he's been the guy all night for Syracuse.
Richmond a drive, a 2 off the front rim, no good. Rebound going the other way of the Huskies, down by 3, and tripped up this time in the backcourt is Shaquille Walters. So Walters is able to soak in the foul. It will still remain Huskies ball. Jim Boeheim clapping his hands, and 4:54 to go. The Orange not taking control of this game, but starting to show a little bit of dominance, stuff we haven't seen throughout the entire landscape of this game since tip-off. 51-48. Syracuse leads it. 4:51 to go. Huskies sharing the ball well. Running the point now for the Huskies is Cabrillo after Walker goes out with an injury. Dolezaj is able to jab one away, but they call it a reach-in foul. He was just trying to get his hand on a pass, but instead it's a reach-in foul, and that's a costly one if you're Syracuse. That was an unneeded foul out of Marek Dolezaj. And now Northeastern a chance to inbound here. Reach-in foul from Marek Dolezaj. He doesn't like the call. Telford in the corner. Gives it off to Cabrillo. Now running the point is Shaquille Walters. Walters over to Cabrillo on the left wing. Walters at the top of the key. Coleman stuck handling it as well. Walters a deep three late in the shot clock. Had to let it fly. And another great defensive possession for Syracuse. The Orange lead it by 3. 4:18 to go. Girard a drive to the inside. Can't get the bucket, but he will get 2 from the free throw line, Kyle. We love when he does it.
Yeah, I mean, finally driving in on the inside and pretty much consecutive plays there, and he draws another foul. So he clearly has the athletic ability to get in on the inside and create opportunities, draw fouls, and maybe get some more buckets, despite lacking a little bit of height at only 6'1". But, getting those shots to fall and then creating more opportunities. He certainly has the ability to do it, and he should do it more often.
Girard hits the first one. Syracuse with one of their biggest games, or their biggest leads of the game. It's up to 4 points now. 4:15 left to go. Girard has one more free throw as well. A chance to make this a 5-point game. One of the best free throw shooters in the country from a year ago. Girard's second free throw, and no problem. Nothing but net. 53-48 lead for Syracuse. 5 points. 4:15 left to play here in the Dome. Cabrillo taking it up the court. Sharing the ball well at the top of the zone was Jason Strong. Strong a corner 3. This one hits. Northeastern clawing their way back into it. Now a 2-point ball game. 3:56 to go. 53-51's the lead for Syracuse. Girard a drive to the inside. Rolls around. Gives it off to Richmond on the right wing. And Richmond slows down the pace. Dolezaj now top of the key just inside the 3-point arc. Dolezaj inside. Quincy Guerrier spinning. Puts up a difficult 2 and draws the foul. Guerrier wanted the bucket as well. The ref's not going to give it to him, obviously, but now Guerrier will get 2 shots from the free throw line. But how about that 3 from the corner? Jason Strong, just when you thought Syracuse was starting to pull away from it, the Huskies with a big response.
Yeah, it's a huge response right there. The defenses usually look solid on both sides of the court tonight. And really, on the way out to this commercial break here, you saw Boeheim pleading his case. Maybe this could fall in Northeastern's favor. He certainly looked angered at something. I'm not sure exactly what the call was in the court, but we'll see when we get back to this.
Yeah, that's one of the downsides of having the TV turned all the way down so that we can't hear the broadcasters. We also can't really hear what they're saying as far as what the whistles are, right? And they don't always show the refs close up. You're not in there to get the calls from the refs. So we occasionally do get the calls wrong, and we do apologize for that. So thank you for bearing with us, Kyle. It's a great observation, and we'll see what happens in a minute. Before that, we'll take a quick break here on Orange Heat. You're watching Orange Heat. It's Syracuse and Northeastern. The Orange lead it by 2 coming into the closing minutes. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back here on Orange Heat. Giovanni Heater with you alongside Kyle Marchak, and we got ourselves an unexpectedly close ball game inside the Dome. It's been low scoring. Usually we'd say it's a great ball game when it's low scoring and close like this, but not the case here today. Syracuse and Northeastern going at it. The offensive struggles have been very apparent for Syracuse, but they're able to slowly pull away a little bit. But every time they start to slowly pull away in the later half of this game, Northeastern's right back with a response. So nonetheless, it's a 2-point game. Jason Strong hit a tough 3 for the Huskies to draw it from a 5-point game to a 2-point game. And now a foul on the inside. Awaiting to see what that is, because you talked about Boeheim pleading his case. Guerrier honestly looked to be doing the same as well. Guerrier was the one trying to put it up, and it could be an offensive rebound against the Orange.
Yeah, we'll see if that falls in our favor here, I guess. Syracuse still certainly keeping this game close. And, you got to wonder with the lack of practice and then, of course, Northeastern coming in, giving them their best shot and Syracuse possibly thinking they're the bigger dog. You got to wonder what they're thinking when all of a sudden they're in a close game like this.
53-51 is your score. 3:38 left. Guerrier is at the free throw line, Kyle. So that is interesting that the foul was against the Huskies down low, and Guerrier hits his first one. The inconsistencies at the free throw line are apparent in his game, but there he goes 2 for 2 and draws this thing back to a 4-point advantage for the Orange. 55-51, 3:38 left to play here in the Dome, Kyle. And we're getting to the later half of this game. We're getting to the crunch time for both of these teams. This is when it gets exciting. Despite the game it's been, these last 3.5 minutes are extremely telling in the landscape of really this is a season-changing game for both teams. If you're Northeastern and you win this, what a momentum builder. And if you're Syracuse, this can be a detrimental loss. So very important, more important than expected on this fine Wednesday afternoon. 3-pointer for Telford off the mark. Hits off the back rim. No good. So bricking that one was Telford. Syracuse, Girard the rebound. Kaderi Richmond now running it on the right wing. Off to Dolezaj on the inside. Dolezaj a spin, trying to get to the tin. Able to get one up. No good. Rattled around for a little bit. And a rebound on the inside. Playing good defense there was Greg Obidobin, and he's able to get the rebound as well. So it's still a 4-point lead for Syracuse, but the Huskies have the ball. 2:45 left to go. Obidobin on the inside. Kick out to the top of the key. Coleman stuck, had it for a second. Back to Obidobin at the elbow. Now a drive here to the inside is number 1, Vito Cabrillo, and it looks like he's fouled. Cabrillo with a decent drive here, and that one's going to go against Dolezaj.
Yeah, Cabrillo with a good drive there, feeding it off to his partner on the inside, really just drawing the contact, Telford going up with it. So 2.5 to go here. Northeastern with an opportunity to bring it back within reach for sure, only down by 4.
Telford first free throw rattles around and buries it. So coming back into the game now for the Huskies is number 24, Shaquille Walters, who's been a big spark for them. Cabrillo comes out of the game out of Croatia. So an interesting substitution there. Shaquille Walters from London, England comes in the game, taking out Cabrillo from Croatia. So you don't get to see that every day. This isn't EuroLeague ball. This is college basketball, so pretty cool to see that. And there's a quick timeout on the floor. We'll take a quick one as well. We'll be right back here on Orange Sheet.
To the prep department Christmas concert. Now, in previous years, we have divided the concert between years 3 and 4.
Welcome back here on Orange Sheet. Apologies for what we missed. Had a couple of quick technical difficulties. Had to adjust something. Looked like Girard gets to the tin for an and one. And now Syracuse leads this thing, opening it up a little bit, 59-53. It's a 6-point advantage for Syracuse, and Girard awaiting a shot at the free throw line. Kyle, what just played while I was gone after the song? Do you know?
No, it's all right. Yeah, I'm not sure what that audio was, but what you missed, basically a free throw on the other end for Northeastern, and then Girard coming through with a big bucket. So hopefully Syracuse continues to separate here with a 7-point lead. Northeastern, time to kind of tick this clock down and see if they can separate as it gets closer to double zeros on the scoreboard for the time category here.
Girard hit the free throw, and now out of bounds it goes. A turnover for the Huskies. That's costly. Syracuse looks like they get the ball back here as well. 60-53 is the lead for Syracuse. Minute 40 to play. 30 seconds on the shot clock. It's a fresh one for the Orange, and Girard dribbling it between his legs. Tightly guarding him at the top is Shaquille Walters. Girard a drive to the inside. He hits the deck, slipped up on the court, able to control his dribble throughout all of that falling. Gets back up, still dribbles the ball and gets it off to Boeheim. Boeheim a spin. Pass to the top of the key. Kadari Richmond, a crossover dribble. Couldn't get a two-pointer to go. Missed everything. I don't even think it was tipped, but on the inside, it looks like there's a foul. Guerrier got the rebound. I think the foul is against Syracuse on the inside. Quincy Guerrier fighting for that rebound.
Yeah, it looks like it. That shot from Newton just falls short, or Kadari Richmond, excuse me. Yeah, it might have been tipped a little bit there for sure, but nonetheless, I mean, he's a tall guy. He should be able to get up and make that play happen. It looks like it was off the ball, fighting for the rebound against Guerrier that the foul was called. Boeheim, of course, pleading his case.
60-54 now for Syracuse, as there's a foul down low against Guerrier, and Jason Strong is at the free throw line. Hits his first free throw, minute 17 to go. Syracuse still leading by 6. Jason Strong, second one. The stroke was pure, so it's a 5-point advantage for Syracuse. Minute 17 left to play here in this ball game inside the Dome. Inbounding to Buddy Boeheim. The Huskies in a full court press, now up to Dolezaj along the left side. Crossing midcourt is Dolezaj up to Guerrier in the left wing. Back to Dolezaj and top of the key, Girard. The Orange settling in, obviously killing some clock here. 15 seconds left on the shot clock. A minute exactly on the game clock. Girard top of the key. Now down to 10 seconds on the shot clock. And the Orange will move. Off to Dolezaj right side. Now Girard, a give and go situation. Not exactly able to get what he wanted. Fading away for two. Off the mark. No good. Not the best shot selection. That's what Syracuse had to do late in the shot clock. And a travel. After the rebound, Girard makes contact with Telford, and the referee calls a travel against Telford. That could be a controversial call here. And it does look as though he takes a step or two to go into Girard, trying to draw a foul, and it's costly because now Syracuse gets the ball. Look at the turnover category. Syracuse 9 so far tonight, 21 for Northeastern, and Girard has the ball back for Syracuse with 36 seconds left in the shot clock.
Yeah, Girard looking to kind of drain the clock here as the ball gets away.
Steal by Telford. Going up the court quickly are the Huskies. Unable to get the two that time is Stutt. And a foul on the inside. The Huskies will shoot two with 22.4 seconds left to play.
Yeah, 5-point lead here for Syracuse. They did not need to give that one up. Certainly could have drained more clock. And now here with 20 seconds to go, Northeastern with a chance to bring this game certainly within reach and really only one possession away.
The foul against Boeheim, it's on Telford, and Telford has 15 points tonight. 2 for 2 from the free throw line, but he misses his first. So no matter what after this, it'll still be a 2-possession ball game, and Telford misses the first free throw. That is costly, Kyle.
Yeah, that's very costly. I mean, when it's crunch time, you have to hit your free throws. You don't see it often where free throws really dictate the game, but all of a sudden with the clock ticking down and 20 seconds to go, a timeout here for Northeastern, and they really needed both of those.
The second free throw for Telford hits. It's a 60-56 lead now for Syracuse, leading it by 4 22.4 seconds left to go. The Orange will have the ball. The Huskies need some sort of steal, something like that, because shot clock is dead at this point with 22.4. Looking at Girard's highlights, he's been big in the last stretch of this game. Marchak, what are your thoughts on how Syracuse really came back and closed this thing out so far?
Yeah, all of a sudden, Girard not afraid to drive the ball. He might be close to 10 plus in points now. Not usually a high scoring guy. Of course, he comes in stretches, and all of a sudden, our man is finally driving in and creating more opportunities. We've seen him in consecutive plays now, really trying to make it to the rim instead of putting up threes. I'm not sure what his statistic is for his 3-point shots, probably only a couple under his belt tonight. But when he performs best is when he finally tries to get in on the inside and create some more opportunities.
Absolutely. 60-56 is the lead for Syracuse. 22.4 left to go here on the clock. And looking at some of the stats here, Girard leads the way. 21 points, 5 for 16 from the field, hit a lot of free throws, but also 3 assists as well. So Girard having himself a day. Quincy Guerrier having himself a real big day. 18 points, 16 rebounds. Absolutely incredible out of the sophomore Quincy Guerrier. Girard a sophomore as well. So 2-year sophomores leading the way, and another timeout here on the court. This time, I think Jim Boeheim elects to call it. 21.9 left. So they adjusted the clock a little bit to 21.9 left. 60-56 is the lead for Syracuse.
So no shot clock needed here. Of course, Syracuse is going to try and drain as much as possible, although I think Northeastern might be going for a foul here. It'll be interesting to see official review, and this could be very big because on this inbound with this full court press, Syracuse might have tipped it away. And if it goes in Northeastern's favor, all of a sudden it could turn into a one-possession game with almost the same amount of clock left. That first free throw that Bogdan missed, really not good. And Guerrier reaching there, it looked like it might have touched him on the way out. This official review will certainly be close.
I'm over here looking to try and find the stats for you on ESPN, and I missed the entire inbound. So the clock didn't get adjusted. They inbounded it. Completely my fault. Taking full responsibility here. 60-56 is the lead for Syracuse, and it is Syracuse's possession still here. Dolajai to inbound it for the Orange. Gets it over to Kadari Richmond, and now the Huskies have to foul. They will. So the Orange in the double bonus. That means Richmond, no matter what, have 2 free throws from the line. An opportunity to make it a 6-point game max. It's still going to be 2 possessions no matter what, holding a 4-point lead. And the Huskies at this point, I mean, you have to get a quick bucket and then foul again. I mean, these last 20 seconds will take about 5 minutes with the foul game. Richmond, first free throw is up and good. He's been very consistent from the charity stripe this season. 61-56 lead for Syracuse, 20.5 seconds left on the clock. Richmond, second one, up and good. Shaquille Walters also just fouled out. That was his last foul, and he's been a big part of the offense for the Huskies. Telford, top of the key. Syracuse back in the zone. Deep 3 this time, off the front rim, no good. Rebound Joe Girard, and it looks like that is going to do it. Vito Cabrillo's unable to hit it. The Orange run out the clock. And Syracuse survives. A little bit of a scare inside the dome. 62-56 is the final score. Syracuse able to eke this win away. And nobody on that Orange sideline looks happy at all right now. Whether you're Jim Boeheim, whether you're the team, they know that was not their best performance this year. Arguably their worst performance. I think they played better on the road at Rutgers, considering Rutgers is a top 15 team right now. Northeastern is not, Kyle. So wrapping things up, Syracuse nonetheless, it's a win in the win column, right? Syracuse extends their season to 5-1 on the year. How did this game play out for you?
Yeah, well, I mean, it was close all night, and it kind of was really reminiscent of Bryant versus Syracuse to open up the season. Of course, more of a high-scoring affair then, but this one relying on the defense of both teams, which was solid both ways. And so, obviously, it went to who had the better offense. And down the stretch, Joe Girard finally got things going for Syracuse. Possibly the biggest point of the game is when he finally hit that big bucket in the inside, drawing the foul and won. And, of course, he hit his free throw as well. So him and Guerrier, guys down the stretch who finally got things going, and Syracuse lucky to really walk away with a win here.
Yeah, we'll take a look at some of the stats here for this game for both squads, Syracuse and Northeastern. I mentioned it, leading the way in points is Joe Girard III, 5 for 16 from the field, 21 total points, 2 for 9 from three rebounds, 3 assists, and just a good game overall out of Girard as far as scoring goes. I mean, he did a good job getting to the bucket, getting to the free throw line, which is that one element of his game that we wanted to see him improve on. Can't go without talking about Quincy Guerrier. He's got to be our Orange Heat flame of the game today. Quincy Guerrier, 18 points, 16 rebounds, 6 for 10 from the field. Just absolutely phenomenal out of Quincy Guerrier at the 5 spot. Marek Dolezaj goes 14 points, 7 for 13 from the field, 4 rebounds, and assist. So a good game out of Marek Dolezaj. Alan Griffin, 0 for, not a single point the entire day out of the Syracuse basketball leading scorer, 0 for 4 from the field, 0 for 3 from the 3. He didn't really shoot much. You know, it's not like he's going 0 for 8, 0 for 10. He went 0 for 4. He didn't really take many shots. Wondering if Northeastern kind of plotted to lock him off a little bit defensively, considering he is the leading scorer. Buddy Boeheim goes 2 points, 1 for 12. As I mentioned, those two usually combine for 35 points a game. Combined tonight for 2, and both of them were Buddy Boeheim's. An average of 1 point tonight out of both Buddy Boeheim and Alan Griffin. Who would have thought it? Kadari Richmond gets 3 points, 0 for 4 from the field. All 3 of them were free throws, and Woody Newton, 2 points tonight, both from the free throw 9 as well. On the other side, leading the way for the Huskies was Telford, 16 points, 5 for 9 from the field, 3 for 4 from beyond the arc. So it was a valiant effort out of the Northeastern Huskies. The Orange proved to be just a little bit better, just a little bit more physical, and just a little bit more talented. It was a good one inside the dome, maybe a little bit scarier and a little bit closer and a little bit less scoring than Syracuse fans may have predicted. Nonetheless, the Orange are 5-1 on the season. What are your closing remarks, Kyle?
Yeah, well, I mean, guys like Alan Griffin are going to have to get things going more consistently for us. So if we look at last game against Boston College, almost everyone on the court had 10-plus points. But, nonetheless, Syracuse walks away with a win here.
Absolutely. Last week against Boston College, every single starter had double figures. Almost 7 players had double figures, with Woody Newton and Richmond coming off the bench with 9 points apiece. You almost had 7 guys in double figures. And the cool thing about last week, only one man hit 20 points, and that was Alan Griffin, and it was only 22. Everybody else just around that, 15 to 18 point mark. And it's remarkable to see because it wasn't one guy doing it in 101 point outspurt. It was everybody doing it. That wasn't necessarily the case tonight, but Syracuse gets the job done. So nonetheless, it's a win for Syracuse. 5-1 on the season they go. Northeastern goes to 1-2 on the year. Syracuse with a big time victory here tonight inside the dome. Final score 62-56. That wraps up our show here on Orange Heat. For Kyle Marchak, I'm Giovanni Heater, and we'll see you next time.